So here's your tour of the Business Run Better system. When you first log in, it will bring you to this page, at least under most circumstances. And you'll notice up at the top, this page is called My Day Master. There's a menu with your name on it and a menu with the organization that you're working with on it. And when you look at them, you'll see they're very similar. My Focus Master, My Day Master, My Work Master, etc. The business one just has the my off of it. When you're working under your name, these are all the things that pertain to you in particular. Now, the other thing you're going to notice is this isn't a very glitzy, fancy looking screen. We've got some articles and things like this over here on the right that the person has a lot of control over what they see there. But this, it looks like a spreadsheet. We chose that on purpose because we can make it look all fancy and beautiful, but every business person we've ever met knows how to use a spreadsheet, and we don't want anybody to have to relearn anything. Our goal is to be effective, not necessarily glitzy. There's also tabs. And on the My Day Master, because this is what your day, or at least most people's days, are ruled by their task, what they need to get done. And they're not always, it's not just showing what needs to be done that day. It looks forward so you can work ahead. And my meetings. You're looking at my actual page here, and these are the meetings. And not for today. These are the teams I'm on and the different team meetings and things along those lines that I'm a part of. Task and meetings, that rules our day. Do them well, you will succeed. So now, let's pick on one of these meetings, because one of the first things you're going to do is implement a meeting. And we do that because meetings, if we can make your meetings drastically shorter and drastically more effective, and meetings are where accountability comes into play, your organization will cut its time to completion in half, and probably more, and you'll be able to get much more done. People will be clear about what they have to do. They'll love it. It'll take some getting used to, but when they get used to it, they will love it. Now, how do you run a meeting that is that effective? It's really, we just copied the airline industry, and we could come up with lots of other terms for it and things, but when the airline industry lands a plane, they need to get it unloaded, reloaded, and back in the air as quickly as possible, and they have to do it extremely effectively and safely. They use checklist. So this is what we have. And different meetings use them in a different form, different questions, but you choose the questions to accomplish the goal that meeting is there for. And these are repetitive meetings. You have some of them daily, some of them weekly, monthly, quarterly, that type of thing. Every question has answers. A lot of times they're yes or no on the daily meetings because you're just trying to find out where the problems are, what fires have to be put out, or maybe they're on the way and you can stop them before they become fires. But when you get into a weekly meeting, those are meetings where you're tracking things. And when a really good meeting, we know that if these activities get done and the level at which they're done at, they'll produce this result. Maybe it's next week, maybe depending upon sales cycles and things like that. It might be a month later. But those things can all be scored on a crisis, poor, good, excellent, and blue sky level. And suddenly, because you can see the last 10 meetings right in front of you, which done weekly is 10 weekly meetings, you can look at the colors and see how things are going. You can track numbers, you can put notes in, and you can create tasks from these meetings, which is very effective. So you create a task, assign it to somebody. It can be linked to projects and KPIs and things along those lines. Put a due date in it and you save it. And when that happens later on in the meeting, like the next day or 2 days or whenever the task is due, but at every meeting, there's a question. Are there any late tasks? Again, we've got tabs across the top because everybody knows how to use tabs. You click on the task tab, and if there's late questions or late task, you simply ask the question, hey, Dan, when are you going to get this done? And you change the date. And do you need any help? The thing is, because this is done in the public square, everybody knows somebody's late. people will get their tasks done on time, and they'll get very good at predicting when they will actually get them done. And they'll think about their schedules before they say, oh, yeah, I'll have that done. It works. This is where the accountability comes in. So we create this meeting. It's one of the first things you're going to do is make a daily check-in meeting that drastically reduces your interruptions and it gains your leadership team time. Once you do that, then you can start going on to Focus Master. Now, this page can look pretty boring, but it really is the heart and soul of alignment, because here's where, follow the tabs across, you decide what your purpose is, the business core values, and notice how short they are, what we do and what we don't do, vision, strategy, simple. Less is almost always more. Top KPIs, and one, if you can know how your business is doing or how it will do in 3 months using one KPI, that's beautiful. And what's most important right now. Once you have that done, you can build everything else on it. So you figure out what you're all about, and then you go to Workmaster. And this is both an organizational chart, project manager, and a accountability chart all together. So these are what we're going to measure, and they're hierarchical. In other words, most of these have other KPIs beneath them, and then projects and things that will move those numbers and sub numbers. And it works just like an organizational chart, except it's considerably better, because this is at the top. You can see what we're measuring, and then who's the captain. Now I changed them all to me for privacy purposes, because this is a real organization. But who's the captain? One person who's accountable to make this work, what the goals are, how they're doing, and then this thing called team dynamics. When you're the captain, you're going to fill out a health report every week or two, and you rate the team on 5 simple questions, and it's to determine how functional or dysfunctional your team is. And everybody on the team can see it, and they can go dig in here and see what those ratings were for the individual 5 things. And the team is responsible to be a good, functional, effective, aligned team, and they can see how they're doing. It's all very transparent, which is very good. Now, of course, you can limit who has access to this, but this is where we go from the theory and what it is, who we are, and actually what we're going to measure, who's in charge. And once that's done, if we pick one of these by clicking on the name, it opens up. Same information on top, but now there's this success plan on the right. And people involved can look at it and they can see how it was set up. Why are we doing this? What are the goals? And there can be narratives added to these to make sure everybody's clear on it. Who's on the team? What their roles are? What are the resources? You don't have to complete all these, but the more complete you make it, the better you're going to function. And then this key tab, this is the alignment. Everybody rates the KPI or whatever it is that you're working on how it aligns with the organization's purpose, core values, vision, what we do, strategy, and you get an alignment score. It's not perfect. It's not, etched in stone, but it gives you a really good idea of how aligned this initiative is with the organization. And if the team's doing good on a well-aligned initiative, things will work. This section is a simple project management. Anybody can use it. That makes it effective. You have milestones in tan. The most important thing is at the top. The tasks that move that milestone are underneath it. They can be assigned, changed from, backlog, begun, committed to most important thing. And the beauty of it is all these tasks then show up in a meeting when they're due or overdue, and the people who are accountable for completing the task, there's this public square systematic accountability projects get done. Everything moves faster. Improvement comes at a pace you never dreamt possible before. So that is the system in a nutshell. You work on per day. You have meetings that are highly effective. Those meetings create tasks and check up on tasks so things get done. You clarify what your organization is about, how you're going to measure it, who's responsible, how it's going to get done. Now, there's another part to this. After you get those things done, there's a whole career section where each person, you can fill out this and clarify what each person's responsibilities are, what their KPIs are. They can see how their teams are doing. They can see how health reports that indicate that score those teams. They can see all of them that they're a part of. There's even a review system on here. So that's all built in, but that is a later thing. But it's important because it shows that the system was designed to make people's lives better by making the organizations they work at or they own or they run better. It's like being part of a winning team. It works. Now, you're wondering, wow, that's a lot. How am I ever going to implement that? Well, when you start the organization and put it in here, a project is created and it's implement operating success system. And it has the organization's name after it. Now you can look at this and maybe that looks like a lot. Maybe it doesn't look like hardly anything to you, but this is how you do the implementation. There's a first milestone. These are the steps. When you click on one of these steps, it opens up and every one of these links is a document. The document probably has videos that explain the document. And you go step by step by step through the implementation process. When this milestone is completed, you change it to fulfilled. It'll drop down to the bottom and you go on to the next one. When every teammate is added, they get a list of tasks, and those tasks bring them to pages and videos that explain what it is the organization is doing and what it is this system, how it works, how they can be an effective part of it. All step-by-step task. Walk you right through it. Don't ever be overwhelmed. We're here, and this is a step-by-step process that's all been done before, and you can do it too. And lastly, obviously, the whole system, it is designed to make people's lives and the lives of organizations better. So everybody who signs up gets access to this Right Now media. It is 20,000 videos on business, personal things, leadership by famous authors, Patrick Lencioni, Henry Cloud, John Maxwell, case studies. It is an amazing resource. It's absolutely free. There's no charge. You can sign up 5 people from your leadership team or 500 people from your organization. If they're in the Business Run Better system, they get access to this. So that is the nickel tour. Probably cost more, like about 15 cents. But I hope that explains a lot to you. And as I said, we're always here for you. And life's never going to be a walk in the park, so don't go on a walk. Go on an adventure.